You're set. Okay. Before we even start, there's one thing I need to do. I need to apologize to the public, to the council for my inappropriate statement last night, and I am so sorry that that slipped out. I normally have more control than that, but it was wrong, and I hope you guys will forgive me and the public will forgive me for saying what I said. Okay, I have called as many people as I could along that Center Street route that to apologize to them, especially the Rashers. So I just want everybody to know that should not have happened. Okay, so all right. I'd like to welcome everyone tonight. This is a regular meeting of the Grantsville City Council, and for the record, today's date is December 17th, 2025, and the time is 7 p.m. This meeting is being held in the Grantsville City offices located at 429 East Main Street, Grantsville, Utah, and on Zoom. I'm Mayor Neil Critchlow. 4 council members are present. Councilwoman Hammond is asked to be excused. I've asked Les if he'll lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Should you all please rise, face the flag. When I give the command, please render the proper salute. Present arms. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. Before I go, Mayor, I'd just like to thank everybody that's here. I appreciate coming in and doing this, and wish you all happy holidays. Thank you.
Thank you. You as well. Okay. First item on the agenda is public comment. Do you have any public comments? What's your name?
Derek Dalton. I'm gonna be direct. Agenda items 8 and 9 are unnecessary, counterproductive, and move the city in the wrong direction. Agenda item number 8, forced resignation of planning commission members. This ordinance is a solution in search of a problem. Filing for office is not holding office. It does not create an automatic conflict. Utah law already requires disclosure and recusal when conflicts exist. Those rules are already in place and already work. What this ordinance actually does is punish volunteers for participating in democracy. It removes experienced planning commission members before any wrongdoing, before any conflict, and before voters have even spoken or cast their votes. Planning commissioners are unpaid volunteers. They give up nights away from their families, take public heat, and make tough recommendations. Passing this ordinance tells those volunteers that if they step up and run for office, they will be pushed out immediately. This will not improve ethics. It will drain experience and discourage capable people from serving. If this ordinance had existed earlier, I would have been forced off the planning commission despite following the law, disclosing appropriately, and acting ethically at all times. That alone should make it clear how flawed this proposal is. Recusal addresses conflicts, disclosure ensures transparency, forced resignation does neither better. And then agenda number 9, limiting council communication with the public. There wasn't much in this packet, so I'm just saying what I believe this is probably about. Agenda item number 9 sends another troubling signal. Elected officials should be searching for ways to communicate less, should not be searching for ways to communicate less with residents. Email and social media is often the only practical way citizens can engage with their government. Discouraging responses does not protect the public, it alienates them. This item is a direct infringement on an individual's First Amendment. Please tread lightly on this. When residents feel ignored, trust erodes. When trust erodes, everything else follows. In closing, taken together, these two items say the same thing. Fewer volunteers, less engagement, First Amendment violations, and more distance between the public and their government. This is not progress. As the former planning commission chairman and as council member elect, I strongly urge the council to reject both items and choose openness, participation, and accountability instead. Thank you.
Any other public comment? If you're on Facebook and you want to make a public comment, hit the raise your button hand here. Alicia? Nothing? Okay. Seeing none, we'll close that item of business. Summary action items. A is approval of minutes from the November 17th, 2025 City Council regular meeting and December 3rd, 2025 CDBG first public hearing and the December 3rd, 2025 City Council regular meeting. Guys had a chance to go through the minutes. Okay. Need a motion.
Mayor, I make a motion, we approve the minutes of the November 17th, 2025 City Council regular meeting held on December 3rd and the CDBG first public hearing also on December 3rd.
I'll second.
A motion and a second. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. B is approval of the bills. Had a chance to look through those?
Mayor, I make a motion to approve the bills as presented.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any other discussion, questions? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, item 3, consideration of approving resolution 2025-88 appointing Aspen Clegg as the Grantsville City Financial Director. Have you met Aspen yet? Okay.
Speech.
Actually, you know what I was thinking? Maybe just introduce herself to the public and the council and just let us know a little bit about your background and your history, just really quick. No need for a big speech, but.
7 years ago.
Your college stuff.
Oh, I'm Aspen. I grew up in Tooele. I have a master's degree in accounting from Southern Utah University. And I'm coming from the auditor's office at Tooele County. So that's where I was most recently. And now I'm down here.
That's great. Okay, good speech.
Thank you.
Good job. We're excited to have you here.
Can I swear her in?
What's that?
Can I swear her in?
Sure, sure.
Okay.
We need to approve it first, right?
Yeah,
Well,
let's do
yeah,
it.
let me do that
Yeah,
first.
let's do
right?
it.
Let's
I
do
got
that first.
excited.
It's all good.
Okay, I'll do the motion.
Thank
I move to approve resolution 2025-88 appointing Aspen Clegg as the Grantsville City Financial Director.
Motion is a second.
I second it.
Okay, any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, now,
Bless you.
All right. Come on, y'all.
Designated picture person.
Thank you. I'm gonna read you your oath, and if you'll raise your right hand and please repeat after me. I state your name,
I, Aspen Clegg,
having been elected or appointed to the office of Financial Director,
having been elected or appointed to the office of Financial Director,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support, obey, and defend
that I will support, obey, and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Utah,
and the Constitution of the State of Utah,
and that I will discharge the duties with with fidelity.
and that I will discharge the duties with fidelity.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. I just had it first.
Thank you.
Got lots of pictures. Great job.
Oh, sorry. Oh, that's okay. Well, that's. Perfect. Okay, thank you, guys.
Thanks, Aspen.
Thank you.
Okay, item number 4, I'd like to table that so that Councilwoman Hammond, Mayor-elect Hammond, can just take care of this on the first council meeting in January.
Does that, just as a discussion item, does that prevent us from having a planning and zoning meeting? If the other,
You got 3.
you got 3? Sometimes we don't have all 3 there, albeit Chris is an alternate already,
That's right.
so he could still attend.
Right.
So really, it doesn't hurt us.
Right.
So just
Exactly.
full disclosure.
And you can vote as an alternate?
No,
No.
yeah, you can vote as an alternate, yes.
Yes,
I think you
yes.
said you as a me, but no.
Yeah.
No, you
Yeah,
as in universal you.
Yeah.
One.
Mr. Horrocks, yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So I just need a motion to table it.
Yeah, I make a motion, we table resolution 2025-87, appointing Chris Horrocks as a regular planning commission member.
Okay. Got a motion. Is there a second?
I second it.
Motion is second. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, consideration of adopting ordinance 2025-47 to adopt the Utah Wildland Urban Interface Code as required under House Bill 48 to address wildfire risk and designated wildland urban interface areas. Hi, Chief, how the heck
Hello,
are
Mr.
you?
Mayor, City Council.
Doing good?
I got a few bullet points here. I'll go through real quick. So my name is Jason Remick, Fire Chief for Grantsville Fire Station. So thank you guys. I'd like to provide a brief overview of the House Bill 48 and discuss how Grantsville existing wildlife mitigation measures may support a more accurate classification under the state's upcoming high-risk WUI map. Do you guys know what the WUI is? Have you heard of it? House Bill 48? So it's the Wild Urban Interface Risk. So House Bill 48 requires every city to adopt and enforce the Utah WUI Code by January 1st, 2026, or they will create a map for us. This could cause a lot of homeowners in Grantsville to have a fee applied to their taxes. It also directs Division of Forestry, Fire, and State Lands to create a statewide high-risk WUI boundary map for by the same date. This map determines where additional requirements and eventually fees will be applied. While we support the intent of House Bill 48, citywide classification as a high-risk WUI map may not accurately reflect the mitigations we already have in place. Grantsville has established fire breaks on the south side of town that is maintained by the 12 Army Depot. These fire breaks act as a permanent and intentional reduction of vegetation wildland fires. Where we have these most sagebrush near homes, we do not have forests of trees surrounding homes in Grantsville city limits. This directly reduces wildfire likelihood and intensely limits available fuel before fire reaches developed areas. Our municipal water supply system has increased with fire resilience. While the statewide risk map does not directly factor the water availability, the local WUI code does consider water infrastructure for fire safety. Our city has done a great job on our water over the past few years. Our hydrant coverage and water capacity supports rapid fire department response and reduces structural vulnerability. These breaks and strong water infrastructure are two of the primary factors that reduces structure exposure and community level wildfire risks. These are not hypothetical measures. These are already in place and functioning. I recommend that Grantsville City formally submits boundary maps proposed. You can pull that up on the screen, please. With this information, we can request refinement of the structure exposure scores for parcels within city limits. This would prevent all of Grantsville from being unnecessarily placed in the high-risk WUI category. Our goal as a fire department, ensuring that the state's map reflects the mitigations and defenses already in place here in Grantsville, 90% of our fire department are wildland certified to handle these types of fires. The map will be on a 3-year update. As the city moves to the west, it will possibly change. We know our area better than the satellite taking the pictures.
And just to reflect the map, that we don't have any areas in our city.
No.
So we have to submit a map, so we've submitted a blank map.
Yeah, so there's nothing, the biggest wildland risk we would have would be to the west above Little Mountain and to the south of South Willow Estates. Little Mountain, there's sagebrush, cheatgrass. We all know it does burn, but it doesn't burn hot and it doesn't burn. We can get ahead of it. So,
But it does burn fast.
it does burn fast, but it doesn't burn hot and it doesn't send off embers. And it's the embers, it's the big trees. If you're up South Willow Canyon, big trees around you, I can see it being a high risk, but I've drove all the way around the boundary of Grantsville and I do not see a high risk as of right now.
Was this House bill, I think, did it come off of kind of the California fires?
Yes.
And the deaths that have happened in the
Yes, that's where it started.
It looks like the fire
preface
in
of.
Maui as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
So this isn't on you, it's on the House bill, like, so the fee that they collect from these high-risk areas, does that just go to paying for the assessments? It doesn't go to helping
The fire department.
fires
No.
and municipalities?
No, it will not go to any city entity. That will go
Okay.
to the state and the government.
All right, so kind of,
So with this map, as you've shown here, there are no homes that are within the city limits of Grantsville as it stands right now that are outside of that zone.
No.
You know approximately how much the fee is?
It's anywhere from $20 to $100.
it depends on the square foot, is that what it said? For the home?
And I think structures, structures.
Yep.
And if you don't designate these homes aren't in there, then the insurance companies can come in and just crank the rates up. So. Okay, perfect.
Questions? More questions?
No, I appreciate this being brought. I think it leads us to question, in an event like that, like to think around the areas of Grantsville where this could be an issue. So I appreciate you bringing that up, that, on the south side, we do have that barrier. On the north side, we have vegetation, but we really don't have a barrier on the north side.
Yeah, there's
You know,
more
it's
hay fields over
essentially,
there.
There's a lot of water out there though, too, so.
Yeah.
No, it was very well put together, so thank you.
Chief Remick, like maybe it would be good just in the future to share more like what you guys are doing to, because I think it's good to hear as a citizen, oh, we've got these in place, we've got this
Yeah.
going on. I think that would be a good thing just in the future, maybe on the newsletter. 1 month it's fire spotlight and you can show what you're doing, because I think you guys are doing some great things, so.
Good.
Make sure we're just shining a light on you guys.
And your Facebook page has been throwing out a lot of really good things too.
Yeah.
So good job. Okay. In a motion, you guys.
Mayor, I make a motion that we move to approve the consideration of adopting ordinance 2025-47 to adopt the Utah Wildlife Urban Interface Code as required under House Bill 48 to address wildfire risk in designated wildland urban interface areas.
Okay, got a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you.
Any more discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 6, consideration approving resolution 2025-86, approving a deviation from a driveway standard under Grantsville Land Use Development and Management Code 6.14.5 E, property located at 414 South Roadster Lane.
So this is located on Roadster Lane. It's in the R121 zoning with approximately 193 feet frontage. The existing driveway width is 48 feet and the applicant is requesting to amend a previously approved secondary access permit. The request is to increase the secondary access width from the approved 15 feet to the 19 feet. Grantsville Land Use Code 6.145E limits the combined width of all driveways approaches to no more than 1/3 of the lot's frontage based on the 193 feet. The maximum allowed combined width is 64 feet. The existing 48 feet and the 19 feet result in a total of 67 feet, resulting in an overage of 4 feet beyond the allowable total. In the code, any deviations for a secondary access is required to go to city council.
Yeah.
And the applicant is here as well.
Okay. Have any questions for Shelby or?
Is the detached garage already built? Or is it planning to be?
In process.
What's that?
In process. Foundation is on then.
So that's what it is you're gonna have a detached garage and you want access.
Can we add a couple things?
Yeah, of course.
So if you look at the picture that actually shows the house on the left, bottom left there. We went through this whole subdivision and looked, and there's supposed to be swells in there to handle stormwater. And Josh here, he's the only one in there with one alongside his next door neighbor to the back of him. So that gray area at the top, that's actually a rock swell to catch stormwater. But he's the only one in there that has one. And if you look across the front of his property, if you were to go out and look down the street both ways, there is no swell either side. But they want us to put a pipe under this access, this driveway access, when there is no other pipes anywhere else in there. And if we do, it's just gonna be underground anyway. It's just gonna be a skunk trap. This is all that's gonna be. So to going through the city with Barry, he has agreed that we can dig down about 2.5 feet across this driveway and then backfill it with gravel and kind of create a French drain. The owner would like to propose, instead of doing that, to go a little more water wise and conscious, he will take out the whole park strip of grass that's pretty much level and add gravel, about 4 inches of gravel, the whole length of that, which will create a lot more drain capacity, water holding capacity, and do that same requirement underneath the driveway. Because that whole width will carry a lot more water than just a little 17-foot section under the driveway. Did I explain that good enough?
Yeah, I have a question, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
I have a question just about elevation. Have you taken shots of the elevation on the bottom? Or what I wanna know is where's the water flowing? Is it flowing
It
towards
shoots
the
north.
top?
I
It
believe
shoots north.
It's going north.
Okay,
So it's gonna run into that driveway that's already there and it's not gonna go any farther. If it builds up and goes over the driveway, it'll go into that next piece of grass that Josh has, which we'll be taking out and putting gravel in, hopefully. And then from there, it goes around and into his storage on this side there. But like I said, he's the only one in there, that whole subdivision with that.
it's a big subdivision, the only one, okay?
Mhm.
I could speak a little bit to that. You know, the original design of those swells were to actually be deeper than they're shown, and as residents in that area have landscaped it, they've brought those swells up. So, but they do exist, along the west portion of the property. You have them all along the west side. So it's really, I think, what's happened in landscaping in that situation. I know the reason for those is they are designed to hold the 100-year storm and keep it from, going down to the guy on the very end of the street and filling his house full. And so, were you suggesting you have the driveway, between the driveway and the other driveway, so between the new addition, the detached garage and the next driveway down, that area along there would be gravel or xeriscape and catch water?
Over here.
I just want to make sure I understood.
So unless Josh corrects me, is proposing we take out all this grass here and all the way through here
Okay,
and turning this into, the waterwise, which we're all trying to do anyway. But that will create a French drain all the way through there. Hold a lot more water.
And you're saying that this is something that you've talked with our city engineer, Barry Bunderson, about, and he's amiable to this, or?
So what Barry proposed is, this is us taking out all that grass and doing the longer, bigger section of gravel. That's kind of a new development. What Barry and I talked about was under the 17-foot piece of concrete, or 15 foot. We would just dig down 2.5 feet, fill it full of gravel and put our driveway over the top of it. So we're proposing, instead of 17 feet, to do that whole length, but it won't be as deep, but it will be a lot more surface to carry that water and soak it in. I can't remember how many feet that is. Do you remember?
It's 8 feet wide and 2 feet long as far as the length. I mean, the frontage is 193 feet.
That will cost the homeowner more, to do that whole thing versus the little 17-foot section, but he's willing to do that. And then for the extra 4 feet, we can come out with 19-foot wide driveway all the way to the sidewalk, and then it just gets narrowed down at the, at the road right there. He'd rather not drive over that little bit of gravel to get his boat into his garage if he can get that 4 feet of extra width.
So the city's biggest concern is the water drainage.
Yeah, the drainage.
And so construction people, so what he's proposing, would that
I mean,
suffice?
however we're calculating the water being captured, I think, I don't know if the purpose of the French drain underneath the concrete was to carry water from one side to the other. Whereas if you don't, and you just, you do road base and concrete there, it acts as a dam, which fills up, and then, which is actually a good thing too, because I think it slows runoff. But
In our discussion, it was only to
What's
hold
that?
water.
Really hold.
yeah,
So, if you make a consideration on this, you can place it as a condition that, the proposed water-wise xeriscape along the entire frontage is calculated by the engineer, because we do have drainage calculations from this development, so we can go, okay, this is how much this water was supposed to hold. This is how deep and how wide it needs to be filled with gravel, so it can hold the same amount of water.
But only for his land, not for everyone else's.
Correct.
Good, because he'd have to take his house out.
Minus everything else down to his house and what should have been on his house.
Don't want to do that.
The initial design that Barry asked for was a 12-inch pipe straight under, so it wouldn't be, it wouldn't hold water at all, it'd just be going through. But our pipe would be literally under the ground, so it would not carry water, water wouldn't even be able to get to it. So we came up with the gravel thing to hold water, but the same kind of problem as what you're mentioning. How's it gonna get in there? We will have to kind of widen it a little bit and put gravel so it could soak into it anyway. I believe that the water's gonna get into that other, the whole length of Park Strip a lot easier and a lot faster than trying to soak in on the edge of a concrete dam in the Park Strip.
For future homeowners of the home and then the existing one as well, what's the elevation change between the top back of curb and the home, the existing home? Have you taken any shots on what the slope is?
From the curb to the top of their foundation or the dirt level?
Sure, dirt, I'd say more dirt level is probably be more conservative.
Dirt level, I would say is probably about 8 to 10 inches. Would that be about right? 8 to 10 inches, and then the foundation's probably another 16 above that.
Are there any other requirements? Cause this is within an HOA, so anything that we discuss, I just wanna make sure that they would probably have to go through that program too.
Yeah, so we
To
do
ensure.
reach out to the HOA when they are in the HOA, and so initially this was an approved permit. And there's no restrictions within the HOA,
Okay.
and so
Okay.
they've just come back and said, okay, we want the 19 feet.
Yeah, I think as long as an engineer could review that, I think it serves the same purpose. The only question I had was if the design of the French drain was to allow transfer of water underneath the driveway from one side to the other, like a culvert would.
Yeah, that's the
So-
intent.
But if you did 4 inches of gravel underneath your slab, it would essentially do the same thing too. So the question, what we're voting on tonight specifically is, and I'm trying to understand this correctly. So we've got a 4-foot variance. Is that the driveway width is, I'm sorry, my eyes are terrible. Is that
19
19
feet.
feet?
That's correct, 19 on the driveway. And right now it's approved a 15-foot wide Park Strip approach.
That's more of a zoning question. Can you come out 19 and then narrow to 14
So
by
our,
requirement or no?
so I mean, our code says that he can only be 15 feet from the curb to the sidewalk, and then from the back of the sidewalk, he can be as wide as he wants. But, obviously that's narrow when you're backing in a boat or
Mhm.
any trailer. And so there are consequences to where he could now drive over the curb and potentially damage it. Versus just having the right width.
Another thing to consider is when we cut curbs to put these in existing subdivisions, they measure to the bottom of the cut.
Mhm.
They don't consider the wings. And those are probably another 2 to 2.5 feet wide. We will not be cutting, we will come straight out. So we will stay at 19 feet. It won't look wider with the wing.
Okay, you don't have a curb there.
There's no curb. I mean, there's a curb, but it's that style that you ramp
Right.
over and just drive over.
It's not even a kicked curb. It doesn't capture water. It pulls water off the roadway. It's designed to pull water into
Yeah, mountable curb.
into
Yeah.
the swales. Okay. What do you want to do, guys? And this went through, can we get some history as far as planning and zoning and kind of how I went through that specifically and.
Yeah, so a secondary access is not required to go through planning commission. It goes through a staff level review, so we include public works, the engineer, the planner. We have them review it and see if it meets code, along with inspectors that go out and inspect the property, take pictures. Initially, this application was approved with a 15-foot secondary access that met code. The applicant came back and said, hey, I want to do a 19-foot. And that's when the code kicks off and says this needs to go to city council for approval.
We would be happy to put a stipulation in there that we need to meet with Barry and the engineer and have him do the calculation on how deep we would need to run that whole length to make that, make sure it's adequate on, it's staying even with what is required.
You think that would be less cost prohibitive than to run the entire length of that park strip with a rock product?
I'm not following, sorry.
Rather than go with a French drain 2 feet down, 19 feet wide, was the reason to move away from that cost?
And trying to be more water conscious,
Okay.
because it's a really long park strip and
Let's say the
They're
park
putting a lot of
strips
water in
probably
there.
would cost more to put rock in than it would be to run 2 feet of French drain.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
Get rid of another park strip, so.
It's a beautiful lawn. It's well mowed every year. So.
Yeah, they take really good care of it.
I'm just a little concerned, potentially having too deep of a swell coming off of the sidewalk and the road. And, what if that drop is a danger, is a safety hazard? That doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
That's why a lot of the residents have raised those. And the reason why I know quite a bit about that area is I was a superintendent many years ago and built some homes in there. And so the design of those swells were supposed to be like it was like 3 feet deep in the center of them. And they were so aggressive that if you were to get out, step off the roadway, open the car door, step off, you could like twist an ankle and go down in the ditch. So.
What if you could drive off it?
So most have filled those, right? Or yeah, drive off it and then have a car issue or, in the snow or whatever. So most of those have somewhat been filled.
We would be using a larger gravel and keeping it pretty level between the curb and the sidewalk. There's not a lot of difference in height there, so we will keep it pretty level so people won't fall down in there.
I think you could put some larger rock into that and still.
Okay.
The smaller the rock is, the less void you have and less water that's calculated there. So I think it's a bit very were to be involved in that calculation just to make sure that.
Yeah,
capturing
absolutely.
Needed water. I don't see an issue with that. Yeah, I don't have anything additionally. I don't have anything additional.
Make a motion, you guys.
Make a motion to approve resolution 2025-86, approving the deviation from the driveway standards as presented. And on the agenda, with the condition that the applicant works with the city engineer on the park strip swell basically on the, that would be the east side of the property.
Okay, got a motion. Is there a second?
I can second it.
Motion and a second. Any more discussion?
Did we get all conditions?
Oh,
We got all
yeah.
conditions, right?
Can't just work with Barry, right?
Yeah.
That's the main one.
Okay. Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Good. Thank you. Item 7, consideration of approving ordinance 2025-48, amending chapter 7 of the Grantsville City Land Use Management Code regarding conditional uses.
Good evening, everybody. Merry Christmas.
Book, right? The conditional use thing that.
That's nice that we try and read it.
was cramped for this exam here.
So this item is brought to you by the Planning Commission, who looked at the code and some of the things that were going on in the city and noted that there needed to be some changes made and just some little tweaks to the code to make sure that things were clear about what the expectations were on the part of the city and what the responsibilities were on the part of staff with regard to noticing and giving notice of de minimis or small changes made to conditions of approval by the planning commission. First off, we clarified what the definition of a significant change was and left some discretion in for the zoning administrator to make those things. And then added the item number 2 under letter A, where the zoning administrator will make notice of the changes that were made, both to the applicant as well as on the city's website and the planning commission, the city council. So that clarifies that, we hope. And then in item B, number 2, this is something that I noticed needed to be clarified as well, that the conditions of approval have to be based off of what is required in the code. So we can't just say you're coming in with a new store, for example, and you have to pave the parking lot in gold. Well, that might be nice. It might be nice to have a gold parking lot. Probably not. It's too soft, right? And it'll be a maintenance nightmare. But
Minus of Morgan, so.
the idea is that there are standards that we can make to a parking lot, though, and we want asphalt to be a certain depth over a certain level of road base and things like that. So those are the things that we can require, and they should be in the code. And if they're not in the code, state code has said that we can't require it. So this brings us to compliance, more closely into compliance with state code, and it clarifies what we can and can't do as far as a condition is concerned. The best conditions are written so that there is some discretion, but it's very limited. And so an example would be if it was in an area of known soil concern, we could require that they dig deeper and put more road base in, and then do the asphalt on top of that, so that would help mitigate the potential impact of the poor soils on the parking lot. But those would be something that our engineer would have to come up with, and their engineer would agree to, and then we would adopt that as an appropriate condition of approval once that was done. So we would still have standards in the code. It would just be something that we would maybe enhance or clarify through the conditional use process. So I hope that's clear. If you have any questions, we're here to help.
I'll just say that, this was presented, I'd probably say 2.5 months ago. We've been working on this with planning and zoning, and it's gone through a couple different iterations and some good discussion, and it was approved. It wasn't last time, but it was time before in November. So, yeah.
I do appreciate the move towards better transparency, especially with number 2 on A. Just that sometimes it can seem like it's not a major thing that becomes a major thing.
Absolutely.
And
We want to
so-
help manage that expectation as well. So yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah, so I think that's great that we kind of have addressed that and are moving towards being just as transparent as we can.
Thank you.
Motion.
Mayor, I make a motion that we approve ordinance 2025-46, amending chapter 7 of the Grantsville City Land Use and Management Code regarding conditional uses.
Motion, is there a second?
Second.
Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, thank you. Item 8 is consideration of approving ordinance 2025-48 amended in chapter 8-3-2 of Grantsville City Code and chapter 3.2 of the Grantsville Land Use Development Management Code to require a planning commission member to resign upon filing for candidacy in a municipal or county election. There's a couple of points in here that our attorney put out there to promote impartiality and orderly administration of city business. Well, that was pretty important. So let's open it up for discussion.
Mayor, if I may just quickly, the title on the agenda doesn't match what the verbiage in the proposed ordinance says. So if you notice there, that correctly states what the ordinance says, that for any elected office. On the agenda, it's listed as any municipal or county office.
Yeah.
So that may also be a source of discussion as to what the preference is there. I think one may limit, a broader range of elected positions. If someone wants to run for US Senate, House Representative, school board,
Couldn't do it. I'll just speak my mind on this. It's hard enough to get individuals to run for office, let alone have individuals be interested in sitting on a planning and zoning commission and to essentially not be compensated for their time. And it's really for love of the community and to help aid with their perspective. I personally think this is counterproductive. It basically is telling someone who may be excited about being involved in the city and city legislation. It may leave a sour taste in individuals' mouths, and I don't think it's good legislation. That's just my personal opinion. I think it's counterproductive. And even if an individual, I mean, you could say, well, let's take it to, well, they can file for office. That happens in June, and they can continue to serve. And then if elected, you could change that. You could say, if they're elected, then maybe, there's a possibility that individual gets what they call a second bite at the apple, so to speak.
Right.
But I think you're only navigating maybe four meetings if the election isn't duly ratified yet. It might just be 3. If the individual is elected, then they wouldn't be able to serve for the final 3. You're talking about November and end of November and first part of December, which is exactly kind of where we're at right now. And so just my thoughts are, if we can't navigate 3 or 4 meetings, then there's something wrong, right? If there's some sort of issue or some sort of thing that may come up where an individual on a commission may get the opportunity to get a second bite of the apple later on down the road, then that individual would either need to recuse themselves from the planning commission decision and or recuse themselves from the city council when it would come before the city council later on, if it came in the next year after the individual was sworn in. So I don't want individuals to feel like their time and their dedication is not worth something, because it's really for a planning commission where an individual can start to learn more about the ordinances and city government and legislation and all that, and really that could be a real big strength to a council down the road. So yeah, you know, as I read the packet and looked through this, that was my thoughts when I perused it before the meeting even started, so.
I spent a little bit of time going through the code specifically and I know it doesn't go to this level, but I think 832B kind of, I mean, it essentially just says shall hold no other public office or position with Grantsville City. So I'm wondering the necessity of an additional step if that. And I know that there's also confines in there for vacancies and those other things. You know, the planning commission, such a vital role in our community, and at the way that it's designed is to protect and to allow citizens to voice and to be heard. And yeah, I just was wondering if there's a need for it, considering that, you know, what's already currently written in the code. Additionally, I mean, taking it a step further, I guess.
Yeah, for me, I mean, I agree with both council members here. As far as when I saw this on the agenda, I didn't really understand, and I still don't really know why it's there. As far as I do, you know, like where it says what the mayor just quoted, avoiding conflict of interest and the appearance of impropriety. Having just campaigned as a city council member for a public office position, that's a hard thing, Jake, you can attest to that too, to try to stay on that line as far as when you're serving your community, but then also trying to boost yourself, you know, and campaign. And so, I mean, it can be done. I think all of us, Derek did fine with it too, like, that you just work to not cross the lines, I guess. Because really, if you did this for a planning and zoning, you would have to do it for city council members running for an office, I would think, keep it. But then that would put, during an election, that this past one, that would put 3 of us out and Derek off of the planning and zoning. It seems counterproductive, as was stated. I mean, I think it's fine, stay on there. If you get elected, then you move on to that other service opportunity. If you don't, then you can stay and do the work that you're doing already.
I mean, I generally maybe ask the question, do we feel like there's enough in the current code that handles vacancies and covers that transition currently?
I didn't see any that would handle from the time you get elected to the time you get sworn in.
Yeah. There's nothing in there that prevents that.
It's pretty base, yeah.
Yeah. Just they can't hold public office or a position with Grantsville City, so, you know, we had a commission member, a little less than 2 years ago that was our chair, and she got a job with the city and she stepped down, which is exactly what it says right there.
Yeah.
So that's our Judge Topo, right?
Mhm.
So there's just been a lot of comments about if you're running for office, are you using that as the talking points in your campaign? You know.
Well, that could go for city councils.
Yeah,
right?
that's
So,
what I was
I mean,
Exactly, it does for us, but
Yeah.
we're elected, they're appointed,
You're right,
Yeah.
exactly, but
so.
But I mean,
They're both.
voters can make that decision for themselves as far as, you know, maybe one voter is gonna say that person has that experience on the planning and zoning, so maybe I lean towards that person, or maybe they're angry at planning and zoning and they say, okay, I lean not against that person. You know what I mean? It could go either way with any voter, so I don't think that there's any conflict of interest or impropriety in serving and campaigning and running for an office.
Okay, make a motion then.
I make a motion, we deny ordinance 2025-48.
Okay, got a motion, is there a second?
Second.
More discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, number 9. Discussion regarding city council members responding to emails and written communications from the public. Michael, you want to handle this one?
Yeah, I'm actually gonna turn it over to Jake, because Jake actually requested this to be on the agenda.
Okay, great.
Yeah, so this actually is not, I think, what the public thinks it is. This is more of, this is ensuring that we, ensuring the integrity of the quorum. And so we've had, if we have certain emails that are sent and they are sent to the entire quorum, by rule, if there's a response to that, it is public, it should be set in front of a public setting. And this isn't a problem that I've observed, but as a new member of the of the group, I want to make sure that one, I feel a duty anytime I feel a duty and an obligation to respond to a citizen if they have a concern about something. What happens is, in some cases, a citizen will send it to the entire group. And I don't know, I don't think there's an understanding, maybe with the public as to when it goes to the entire group, if there's any discussions within that group, it violates the public rule, right? And so what I wanted to just bring up for discussion is just should we put a procedure in place, or should we have a procedure in place that indicates, if it goes to the entire group, somebody raises a hand and says, I'll respond to this, or we acknowledge we've received it. I want to make sure that the voices of the citizens are, that they're heard, they feel like that. Because I know, like I said, I feel that obligation to respond, but it needs to be done in the right setting to ensure the integrity of the quorum is met. So that was kind of where and it's even like, it can go even to the point of like a text message. If we were as a council to get a text message as a group regarding something that was, that should be held in an open setting, and it was sent to the group, we just want to avoid that as well. And I know the council understands that, but I don't know, if an individual just reaches out and wants, so I guess what I was looking more is for something formal that we can ensure that they're being heard, and I don't know if that comes from, does that come from the mayor? Does the mayor reach back and say, hey, we received your inquiry, and am I overthinking that?
No, I don't think you're necessarily overthinking it. Just in regards to some of the situations we've had in the past, there are times in which emails are sent just to the council and not the mayor. And there are emails and requests and from the public for responses that require more so a direct reply from any of the council members that they want to reply, which typically is the approach that I take.
Individually.
I just reply to them directly, and I feel like my response to them is more personal when it's just between myself and the individual. So I'd say probably 90% of the time that's the case. There are certain cases where there's someone that needs to step up, I guess, so to speak, and reply to the email or to the request by the public. So I mean, I think you're looking for a protocol on how we go about that.
Yeah.
And I think that maybe a text message to the group whether it needs to include the mayor or not, would be appropriate. Just saying, hey, I'll take this one and I'll respond for the group. So just whoever feels like they're. But for me, I personally, the majority of the time, I respond directly to them, and really you don't know that I've responded to those individuals, so.
Yeah, because it would depend on the intention of the email. Like sometimes people will email, it's just easier to copy all of the email addresses and email all of them all
Reply
in
all,
one.
yeah.
And rather than send the same email separately to each, because in that case, the intention is they want to, like, that person wants to hear what our opinions are, if it's something that's going to be discussed or something that they want addressed. And so, and sometimes some people respond, some don't, but if it's something that they have a question that, I don't know, I wonder if that'd be too much. I don't know, maybe, I guess it wouldn't be too much work, but like, cause usually if it's a question and I know the answer to it, maybe if it's just a question, just reply all. I'm not a reply all fan, but
I'm not either.
but if it's like a question, they're like, well, what is the city's policy on this? Or it's something you just answer the question. If you reply all, then everyone knows that question was answered, But so that's what I would do on a question. But like if they want to know what your opinion is or what your thoughts are on something, then I would say if you want to respond one-on-one.
Individually.
We haven't had any training on this necessarily. We've never really discussed this, so I think it's a great, something great to bring up.
I've got a quick PowerPoint I could run through if it's helpful on this, written communications for elected officials.
Sure.
It's about 10 slides.
Yeah, that sounds great. Good little Agenda 9 training.
We can wait a couple weeks. I guess we got Derek here, we can
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, all but one here.
capture it all.
Tyson Barker, City Attorney. Plugged in here.
There you go.
All right. So I've just taken some kind of best practices from different sources and compiled just a brief summary just to kind of go over some of the issues that come up with written communications with the public and social media and how it interacts with different laws. So there's some of the objectives of this training would be to go through the GRAMA and Open Public Meeting Act requirements, learning the proper communication protocols, preventing any ethics violations, and managing. I think we've lost our
We see it here though.
link there. Oh, well,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
helpful.
Yeah, the Republicans
It's
are
just-
just-
No, that's fine.
You can answer.
I don't see it on the Zoom meeting, so I'm trying to get it there.
So there's also issues where you may get an email that impacts a citywide issue. And so we'll address some of those things. The key laws that are involved here are GRAMA, the OPMA, the Utah Public Officers and Employee Ethics Act, and any requirements within our code. Under GRAMA, we've got to consider that, if you're getting an email and you respond to it, even if you don't respond to it, it's a city record. If it comes to your city email, it's a city record. If it comes to your personal email and it's a city related item, it may be considered a public record. And so we want to make sure that we're staying within the confines of GRAMA, making sure we're not creating records that don't need to be created. These can be emails, text, documents, data, letters, maps, photographs, any documents that are prepared. There's a number of exceptions to grandma. Of course, there's about 100 different exceptions that are listed. And within there's some latitude to move around as well. It's basically a balance of public information and individual privacy. If the right to public access to the information overrides what would be a reasonable intrusion upon the individual's privacy, then it should be disclosed. If there's a personal privacy issue that outweighs the disclosure, benefit to the public of the disclosure, then it would be a protected or classified as private document. Under the Open and Public Meetings Act, one of the things that you need to be concerned with is serial communications. That's long threads of emails that go back years. Those become much longer PowerPoints than these when they're presented in hearings. And also when it can become an illegal meeting. I think Jake was alluding to that earlier, where if we've got a thread with all members of council on it, and things could bleed over into decision making, or it could even just be perceived that way. Things that are prohibited would be email discussions among a quorum of council. So it would be more encouraged if there's questions to have the separate emails that are going around instead of having everyone in on one. Electronic deliberation, doing straw polls, that type of thing, on public policy things. The reply all chain about pending actions, those would all be prohibited under the OPMA. Let's see. So the Utah Public Officers and Employees Ethics Act, you can't act in ways that benefit you personally with a financial benefit. If things like that come up in a communication from the public, if there's any offer of a business opportunity or a job or things of that nature, those must of course be refused, but also should be disclosed in a public meeting that had transpired. And those need to be entered on the minutes. A violation is a Class B misdemeanor for a knowing violation. It can be much worse than a Class B misdemeanor, however, if it involves financial fraud and things of that nature. As far as email goes, we of course strive for professional communication standards. These are the do's of professional communication. We should acknowledge the receipt of the email promptly, direct policy questions to the proper department heads, maintain professional tone, save all correspondence because they're going to be grammar requestable, refer citizens to the proper city processes, use official city email for city business, not your personal email. Ask questions if you're unsure. Michael is always available, city manager. I'm always available, city attorney, and any of the department heads if it relates to something of their concern. We also have a public information officer, if you're not aware. That's Lieutenant Watson at the PD. And so if you have something related to a public disclosure of a policy decision, maybe get him involved as well. As far as don'ts go, don't make commitments. Share or don't share privileged or confidential information. Don't engage in those serial communications that we talked about. Don't use personal email without retention protocols, and try not to speak for the entire council when deliberation hasn't occurred yet. Just sort of a 4-step process to handling citywide communications here. Professional courtesy, we should assess the scope, make sure, is this something that we could redirect? Is it a snowplow issue? We need to just send it to Public Works, and let them know that it's going to be redirected to the proper staff. Kind of the key phrase there would just be, thank you for contacting me. This matter should be directed to someone in the city that handles that issue is generally what could be done. They're going to be the most familiar with how to get the problem solved anyway. On social media, we want to have a positive social media presence. And so we want to represent the city appropriately, maintain consistency and professionalism. Even in personal social media posts, you are still an elected official of the city, and you're speaking from your position. It's hard not to as an elected official. Social media posts they may become public records, and we do have established city social media policies in our handbook, and we do have a social media point of contact who's in charge of posting for the city. And that's really all I have for you. Any questions that you might have for the city attorney with this type
That
of
was
thing?
fantastic. Thank you for dropping that on the spot.
You bet.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tim.
Thank
Good
you.
job. Okay, anything else you want to see with that?
Can I just put in, oh, sorry.
No, you go ahead.
I was gonna say, maybe, this doesn't apply to me soon, but for future agendas and things, when you have an item like this, maybe give a little more background, because yeah, there was a lot of misunderstanding of what this topic was. And for me, like, coming in blindly too, not knowing what it was, I think it would be nice when you have a discussion item to just have, like what you just said. This is the question. And so then you have more time to think about it, because this is not just this time, but this has happened before where we've had discussions and there's nothing in the packet about it. And so then like information gets presented at the meeting and I'm like, oh, I would have liked a little more time to think about this or to research this on my own. So just as a future suggestion is to maybe, even if it's just a discussion item about a question, to just give a little more background.
But don't send it to the entire council because it constitutes a meeting.
Yes.
Just learned that.
But just if it's in the packet.
I agree, but still, it was well done. Thank you, Tyson.
Yeah.
Appreciate the training. I think it would probably be appropriate to possibly attach your PowerPoint to the packet online, so it becomes part of the public record. And I think it would be helpful just to, I mean, we don't have Councilwoman Hammond, or I guess I should call her Mayor-elect Hammond, here with us, but maybe send it to the council members just so we have that.
Certainly.
We are planning on doing more of these trainings like this in work sessions at the beginning of the year, especially when the new council members are added to this, and we'll do work sessions on this as well as budgeting work sessions and different things like that. And I'll be properly noticed to the public and everything.
That'll be very helpful. Thank you.
Okay, is that it? Okay. Item 10, council reports. Jeff, how are you doing? You ready for this?
I'm doing great, yeah. Despite there being no mosquitoes, we keep having meetings as the mosquito abatement. Basically, we just had a Christmas party. So so that just reminded me, I just want to wish I wanted to say thanks for the lunch today for the city employees. I wanted to thank the city employees for all your hard work. I think we've got some great employees, and I just wanted to say Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. Hopefully you spend some time with your family. So we do appreciate you all. And that's all I have.
Okay, so, okay.
Yeah, I will echo that. I'm glad you brought it up, Jeff. Appreciate all of those that work at the city and the hard work that they do. I don't know if it gets said enough, but hopefully we say it as much as we get the opportunity to. Appreciate what you do for the members of this community, and wish you a happy holiday season as well. I don't know if now would be a good time or not to say thank you to Councilwoman Jenkins for I appreciate the opportunity to have been able to work with you for a short period. And for your service for the members of this community. Thank you. Mayor, appreciate everything you've done for the city of Grantsville, and I have the same comment. Thank you for serving. It is I'm learning really quickly that it's a lot of work, and so thank you for what you've done there. So as far as the reports, I've got we will have a follow-up meeting specifically with, we've had several, but we'll have a follow-up meeting with the superintendent, and our new mayor-elect regarding items that we had specifically regarding the park and next year and kind of what's going to happen there as far as an action plan.
The Veterans Park, you mean?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. The baseball field and those other fields and an agreement there specifically with them. So that's kind of an ongoing item that we're working with. As far as the update on the Veterans Park, we have redrawn, that's gone through our internal group. Thank you for reviewing that. And it looks like it's got a few items that we'll address specifically, and then that will be ready to come back before the council. We'll have we've already priced it out, so we'll need to make a decision on that portion, and then have some discussion if it's to go back out and to be priced, reducing it to try to get the cost down specifically. So I think those are the two that I have. Okay, thank you.
Well, in regards to report on the library board, I attended our meeting earlier in the month, and really the majority of our meeting was just discussing the upcoming budget. And he's got some needs. I think he's gone through those with you, Michael. And anyways, we reviewed those as a board and kind of what his vision is behind that, John's. And other than that, was pretty much the majority of our meeting. The board has struggled a little bit in the past, probably past 5 or 6 months, just being able to have a quorum. We have discussed potentially moving the meetings to a quarterly meeting rather than a once a month meeting. So we're meeting the first part of January to finalize that decision, and then we'll move as the board decides. So there
I
you have
know
it.
someone who might be interested in the library board here
Oh, great.
pretty soon.
Let me know.
Yeah.
That'd be great. Okay. In regards to Councilman Thomas, his comments, I'll echo those for both you, Councilwoman Jenkins. It's been great to sit by you for the past 2 years and rub shoulders with you, and as a member of the council, appreciate your dedication, your efforts.
Thank you.
We've had some good times, and we've had some tough times, and we've had some long nights here. And I think on behalf of the citizens of Grantsville and the other council members, we just appreciate your efforts.
Thank you.
And Mayor, you've served on this council, for a term, and also as mayor of our city for the last 4 years, and just appreciate your efforts and your dedication to our community. And really, if you don't mind, I'm going to step out for just a second and go grab something. So us as a council decided to grab you a little parting gift. I'll run and go grab that real quick. Jake, if you want to come out there.
Dana White.
So on behalf of the council, thank you for your efforts.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And I really think a round of applause is
And I'm gonna let you have the last word tonight, so I'll take my time right now, okay? Just kind of a little report. We had Merrill Nelson come in today, and then we talked about how many books that we need to sell to hit what we've offered to pay. Yeah, he's back. We need 70 more books to sell 70 more books, so. And that'll break us even, so, okay? Great. That was a good thing, so. And, I just want to say to the council, I sure appreciate you very much. It's been a pleasure to serve with you. We've had a lot of good experiences, and I hope we can continue to be friends in our life and enjoy this, so. And serving is important. You're good? Okay. All right, I'll let Jolene have the last word.
I was doing so good, and then I drink all that water, and it's just
What does it?
coming out. Well, to quote from one of my favorite novels, it was the best of times, it was the worst of times. No, it has been such an honor to serve on the city council. And I can say that I have no regrets serving on the city council. And that, I mean, there are things I wish I could have accomplished, some more things, but no regrets in how I served. I tried to serve full throttle and do all that I could. I love Grantsville, and I truly feel grateful and honored to have had this. Sorry. To have had this opportunity. I am grateful for those I've been able to serve with. I can honestly say that in the 4 years that I've been serving, I have not served with any council members who have wanted anything different than to do what was best for Grantsville. And that I have never seen anyone with any ulterior motives or anything like that, that I've served with some really fine people. And I'm grateful for the things I've learned from each of you. And I'm grateful for the opportunity to get to know all of you and work alongside you. Probably the hardest thing on city council was losing one of our council members. And so I give a thanks to Scott. Okay. I had this all practiced too, so I wouldn't cry. And I also want to say thank you to our city employees. I stand by the fact that we have the best employees out there here in Grantsville. And they're not here because we are just paying so much, because they're here because they love our city too. And to watch these people work behind the scenes with very little gratitude and just give their all to make Grantsville City run and to make it run successfully. I appreciate them so much, whether it was cooking hot dogs with them at 4th of July events or working alongside them with projects or calling. I'm sure they'll be so glad, all of the employees will be so glad to not see my number all the time or have me marching down here to ask questions and but they've always been so good to answer my questions and to work with me and to help me accomplish some of the things that I wanted to do. So I'm just so grateful, and we really do. If you see one of our city employees, please just tell them thank you. They deserve it. And lastly, I just want to thank the public. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to do this and to represent you. And I know we don't always agree on everything, but I appreciate that people love Grantsville too, and that you're willing to share your voice and you're willing to work and to be a part of good and to be a part of preserving the things that we all love about Grantsville. It's been a big eye opener for me to serve on the city council. I know I'm still going to be around doing various things. So city employees, I'm going to be around bugging you about some project or another. But I'm feeling just so grateful today for this opportunity. And I hope that our citizens, and I'm planning to be there too, I hope our citizens will continue to be engaged and to be a part of keeping Grantsville rolling forward. And I just thank you. Sorry.
Good deal.
That Minky Couture, you just got me.
Take it with you to Mexico, huh?
Thank you.
Okay, Michael, you have anything you'd like to say?
I had a few things. I do want to reiterate the thank you to our outgoing elected officials. In the short time I've been here since May, you've definitely made a difference in my life, and I've really enjoyed working with you, and I look forward to working with you afterwards. Please don't turn off your phone. We'll have many questions for you in the future. And so I know staff has and you will be missed. And so the other thing is I have done and gone out for some interviews for a road supervisor. We feel like we have a good candidate selected. He's going through the background check right now, but his name is Benjamin Henderson. He used to be the public works director in Duchesne County, and in Lee County, he was the road supervisor. So he comes with some significant experience in the public works department and road experience. So he's going to be a great asset to here. So we'll have him to really rely on in regards to new projects that are going to come in the future next year. The other thing about roads is today I missed our employee party, our Christmas party. Sorry, I missed that because we had an impromptu meeting that was set up with Twilla County and the state representative. We met with the executive director of UDOT, Carlos Baraves, and our state representatives there discussing Mid-Valley Highway and how we can get that actually on the list to do. And so we are trying to meet with those state representatives to try and further these projects. We did bring up Sheep's Lane, the light there, and let UDOT know that we've had fatalities there and that they need to take this more seriously because of that. So I just wanted to let council know and the residents know that we are actively going to the state to advocate for that here right now. And again, a shout out to our staff and wish them a great holiday season, and they're doing a great job.
Yeah. I'm going to say that too. Merry Christmas.
Yeah, Merry Christmas.
Mayor, just so you know, I was going to put a slideshow together. I almost did, this close.
Oh man, you guys are lucky. Good.
You haven't done a slideshow for 2 years because I've never seen one.
Oh,
I
man,
know.
They were legendary.
They were epic.
Yeah. I will tell you, Ben Anderson is related to the Corlises from Grantsville. So he's been out here a lot, some connection. Okay.
Want to make the motion? Want the first or the second?
You make the motion.
I move we adjourn.
Second. A motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Joe.
Such great.
Thank you, everyone.
Don't